All right, good morning, real closers. Good morning. For those who stayed back, they're not yet celebrating July 4th, or for those who came back, good morning. Today we have a very interesting topic. So every week we talk about how to prospect, how you should be doing it more and more, and also how you can get help from an ISA. And we talked about extensively about what you need to do in order to hire one, train, maintain. But today we're going to talk about the opposite, right? When or reasons not to hire one. When do you not need to hire an ISA? Gustavo, why don't we go through that and see what people have to say about that?
Awesome. So yeah, definitely, thanks folks for those of us listening to this, at the barbecue, on the boat, appreciate that. Appreciate listening on a holiday week. But yeah, it's a question that, I get a lot in different forms, but I think the real question is, hey, when should you not hire an ISA? Right? And there's some really clear situations. The same way that there are clear situations when you should hire, you have too many leads. You're not calling the leads you should be. Your database is big. You have a lot of leads, but not enough deals. That's a very clear indicator you need some help, right? Rekindling campaign or just following up with those brand new leads. Very obvious indicator you need some help. Or you're prospecting based and you're capped on the amount of time you can prospect. And if you're a successful prospector, cold calling agent, it's hard to do more than an hour or two a day. It's really hard, especially if you're busy. It goes down to zero is what usually happens, right? So that's another very clear case. But there are some equally clear cases where the ISA is just the wrong solution and it can lead you astray. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot these off real quick. We'll make it a quick session today. But the number one reason I think people should not hire an ISA is call reluctance. Avoiding call reluctance. Okay, I hate making calls. I don't want to make calls. I'm going to bring an ISA and I'm done. I'm retiring from making calls. That, Roberto, that expectation, I've been doing this almost 8 years now. 8 years, over 1,600 clients served. I have never seen that situation work out one time. Okay, not once does that situation turn out well for someone. Okay, and we actively try to weed it out at this stage. Okay, have you ever had any success calling? Because if you don't know how to have success converting those internet leads, converting those cold leads, the ISA is only going to make that problem worse. It's only going to exacerbate that problem. Okay, if you are reluctant to call hand razor leads and you don't know how to convert those into clients, an ISA is not going to solve that problem for you. It's only going to make it worse. The ISA has you calling more, a little bit of a different calling. They're not doing the grind, but you got to still follow up and convert those leads the ISAs generate for you. Okay, so that is a big red flag for me. It's a pitfall. Don't fall into it. Don't fall into it. An ISA needs to plug in to a system that's already working. That's how you can be successful with one, right? And if you have questions about whether you fit in that criteria or not, that's a great conversation we can have with you. We'd love to help out, but be aware of that, right? If you don't have a system that works, don't have a system that at least has worked in the past, let's just call it that, right? Because right now, everyone wants more transactions. I get it. The market is low on inventory. I understand that. But if you have a system that's never been proven at all, maybe not in the summer of 2023, but never at all, it's going to be really hard for an ISA to be a solution for you guys. Okay, very challenging. I don't see it work. I don't see it work out. Okay, that's one situation. Another one, if you're a brand new agent, okay, and by brand new I mean licensed and started in the business less than a year out, the likelihood that you even need an ISA is low. Okay, the likelihood you even need an ISA is very low. And for all the reasons I just talked about in the previous example, you probably don't have a proven system yet. You probably don't have enough leads yet. Maybe the exception here can be on that outbound prospecting. If you're killing it with outbound prospecting, well, you know what? Then you're right. I'm wrong. You're right. Okay. There are some exceptions to every rule for sure. And we've had success with some of the newer agents, but they had a system that was working for them. They just happened to find it within the first few months. Okay, that's great. The power to you. That's awesome. Great. They went deep down into the outbound prospecting, they figured it out quickly. Okay, good for you too. If you have a proven system working, that beats everything. But the likelihood that that's a brand new agent is just very low. Okay, very low that a brand new agent needs some help. Do not find an ISA if you want to put down the phone and don't do anything anymore. That's just a scenario that is just not really going to work. It's not really going to work. It's not real. Another reason you shouldn't hire an ISA is if you have very unrealistic expectations, okay? Very unrealistic expectations. And it kind of goes hand in hand with my previous examples, because if you don't have a proven system that you've used before, your expectations can be wildly off. It can be wildly off. You know what? I'm finally getting into this internet lead thing, right? I want to get, I think I heard someone say, oh yeah, I want to get 10 appointments a week on it. And which I go, you know what? That can be really high or it can be really low, depending on how many leads. How many leads you're generating? Oh, about 20 or 30, a month. Like that is just not, there's just no way that's going to work. Like the math is not there. Right? The math is not there. You might be able to get 3-4 appointments a month with 20, 30 leads, but that's just not going to work out if you want 10 appointments a week, right? Oh, but I've heard so-and-so does 2 appointments a day. They probably have a couple hundred internet leads coming in new ones coming in every month, plus a database of about thousands of leads too, right? They just didn't tell you that when they said that example. You just see the outcome that you want, and you want that outcome. But the outcome is a combination of the lead source, yes, the ISA, and making those things come together and make sense. Okay. And our team has gotten really good at this, Roberto, where the first thing we do with a new client is we need to make sure they have realistic expectations. And if they don't, we got to walk them back and get them to where they understand and they get it, right? And some people get it, some people don't. You know what? We'd rather not work with those folks because we're just going to be very disappointed from the get-go. Yeah. And Roberto, this has happened to me. Actually, this is not just to my team, but to me personally, when I've had to tell people we're just not a good fit for you. And some people will take that and go, okay, cool, bye. And some people will just be very shocked at that. Like, oh my goodness, what? Oh my goodness, they don't want to work with me. These guys are terrible. Like, if someone started to blast and put that message on blast, I think people realize that the person with the issue is not Power ISA, right? So anyways, I don't want to name names out there, but sometimes you have to tell people no. And some people take it and they understand it, and some people take it really, really poorly, right? So it just confirms to me that it's the right decision. So there you go. Because someone can have the wrong expectations by an honest mistake, they're just not sure. And once they get educated, they go, oh, I see what you're saying. Let's go, right? And we can teach them how to make it work. So having the incorrect expectation is not a deal breaker per se. It is having an unrealistic expectation and refusing to, listen to the background and the reasoning and the why and the how of it, right? You kind of just sticking to your guns no matter what. That we can't really work with, right? So we try to be open and honest from the very start. We don't even have an ISA on your team yet, and we're already talking about the right expectation they have in order for folks to be successful. So that is another big one. So that's what I got, folks. Those are the top reasons I say the big red flags on where the ISA is not the solution. And that's what I would share with folks. Listen to this, take it to heart, understand if this is you or not. And if you're not sure, we'd love to have a conversation with you, have a consultation to help you figure this out, right? Because if you're not going to be successful with an ISA, then we're not going to be the ones to bring you on anyway, and cross our fingers and hope for the best, right? So would love to chat with folks that are not sure whether they're in this case or not, but I think it's a great conversation to have.
And I just want to add one more to that list, if I may.
Yeah.
If you're thinking that you're going to plug, even if you have the right systems, you have everything else set up, you've had success. If the expectation is that your ISA is going to plug in and just give you immediate results, that should also be a red flag, because you want to put a little bit of time yourself, right?
100%.
It's going to take a little bit of time from your day because you're hiring an employee, you're hiring a part of the team, right? You're not just
100%.
having someone, even with the with the setup like Gustavo, right, where he just plugs someone who's already trained, someone who's already doing stuff for you. He's gonna monitor the ISA for you, right? But you still want to be able to work with that person. You still want to be able to put in a little bit of time, a little bit of your own training, right? Your own flavor to the conversations, your own. You're gonna want to listen to the calls. You're gonna want to provide feedback. You want to spend some time with your ISA. If you want to take your success from here to here, you kind of have to, right? If you're expecting the expectation is to be here already, but you're not willing to put in the work, that could also be an issue as well, right?
100%. So yeah, and I've never seen a successful campaign where the agent wasn't involved and put some work in at the beginning, especially those first 30 days. So important, those first 30 days. They're make or break for the success of any campaign. But when I see someone that's engaged, that's involved, putting the time in, like the likelihood of success is just groundbreaking. It's very good. It's an inflection point, massive one, of you putting the time. Like you said, Roberto, like any teammate, like anyone that's new on your team. I don't think it's any different than that.
Exactly. All right, Gustavo, thank you so much. I know it's Monday, July 3rd. You guys are celebrating tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be
All
off
right.
for a lot of people. We're still putting
Happy
in the work.
Independence Day. Happy Independence Day, everybody.
And we'll see you next week. All right, man.
All right. Thanks.
Enjoy. Have a good one. Thank you.